Hello to everyone who is a new subscriber. Welcome. Thank you so much for following me and wanting to see me again. It really means a lot to me, so thank you. And to everyone that are continue watching me, liking, commenting, thank you so much. It really means a whole lot to me. So today, it is May the 3rd. It's a Friday. I know I tried to film before. I had actually planned to film on Wednesday when it was the 1st, but I suddenly got an appointment at Tuesday about some moles that didn't look too good, especially one of them, and it was a pretty big one. So they decided to remove it. They don't think it's anything, but it had to be removed because it was in a place where it always got irritated. And with that, it's in a place that made it so I can't move too much without my wound trying to rip itself open again. I have some stitches. I think they did 2 or 3 stitches. So it has been really painful for me to move at all. I haven't been feeling good, and it has, on top of that, triggered my illness. I have also started at the end of Easter, I started no more soda and no more candy. Priority with soda. So if I get a really bad craving, I usually take maybe just a little piece of chocolate to eat just to dampen the need, or else I know I will go gangbusters on everything I have in my house. So that has also triggered me getting a lot of headaches that has almost turned into migraines, even though I have my piercing. So, and I haven't got those real migraines headaches, but I have gotten the migraine symptoms that I have had before. I have gotten that after I got the piercing. The pain isn't there, but I get blurry vision and I get dots in front of my visions and stuff like that, so I can see properly. And so yeah, things have just been not good. And I totally forgot that Wednesday was also a national holiday here in Norway. It's the Workers' Day. So my husband and son was home. So things have just been piling up. It was just Easter. I tried to recover from that. I did the surgery, incision, and then they were home again. And yeah, this weekend is also going to be crazy. So it is what it is. It's life. So I just hope things settle down again and I can go back to normal and hopefully feel better. So I had also bought myself a machine that does that wrapping your paper in plastic, melting it around your paper in plastic. So what I have tried out is actually made myself some floss cards. Yes, it is glitter paper, and I have on the back, I didn't write very nicely, so I have written like chart and start, so I can write here on a permanent marker and then remove it afterwards, because these letters are under the plastic. And I can also write on the front symbols, stuff like that. Can use both sides if I want. I like these the best. So yeah, that was just a test. I think it went well. So the next step is trying to find a way where I can... I usually don't like the floss cards that have one side here and one side there. I really like the ones from That's So Kelly & Co, where they go every other in a zigzag, but I don't know how to be able to do that because my hole puncher do not want to reach up to the top. So I might have to look at the slimmer version. You can already see this is pretty slim in height wise, and see if I can make the holes from the other side so I can get that every other hole. So yeah, I will be, when I feel better again, I will try to do something with that. And mostly because I have done this is because I have tried to also, since Easter, every day sit a little bit on my Pilates ball. And just because I have noticed I have a lot of back pain that I have had since I was 17, 18 years, because my skeleton system isn't the way it's supposed to be, because I have a very noticeable difference in height on my feet. And since they didn't notice that before I was 15, my skeleton has set itself in a way that it is crooked. So that makes it so sometimes nerves and stuff can be squished back in my back, and yeah, just a whole lot of complications there. So, but what can you do? So sitting on the ball I have noticed that have really helped. The days that have been now after my removal of the mole, I haven't been able to sit on the Pilates ball before it ended up hurting too much where I had my stitches. So this is the first day I'm back at the ball sitting. So, and I have noticed my back has actually started to hurt again when I'm not doing that each day. So I definitely need to take more time to do that. And what I have done, because I can't just sit on a ball and train. That's not me. I get bored. I don't know what to do. I end up sitting in positions that isn't good for my body because of I have some joints that can move more than they're supposed to. So even though you're not technically possible to sit wrong on a Pilates ball, I can. Go me. So yeah, so I figured I need to do something, and a good thing is to sit the table where I have the camera. It is our table in the living room. We usually use it for board gaming, and if we have like birthday parties and stuff, we use this table and the table in the kitchen that you can slightly see there in the back of the doors, and have like a long table in our living room. So I have been organizing stuff. I have organized my DMCs. I have made these floss holder cards, and I'm also thinking going forward I will use the opportunity to try and kit up some more stuff. I'm not going to start it, but get it kitted up, try to kit up with floss. Now I can make floss cards, so that is a little bit easier. And since I'm making these myself, these are the medium size that I can make, because I can make it so it is A4 page, the length of an A4 page, and that was about, I think I managed to get 30 holes or something in the length on that one. So, and that will be really good for bigger projects like my Heaven and Earth designs. And I can maybe try and, for each one of them, make the holes exactly as many as there is a one piece of paper in the chart, the symbol chart from Heaven and Earth Design, so I know when I'm looking for something, I'm like, okay, that is the second page, I'm going to the second floss card. So that is my idea, at least, to do. Get some good organization in. So we'll see. As I said, I'm not very good. There will be a crazy weekend, but I take it as it comes. But that also means, I'm so sorry, I haven't had the time to film my A to C stitch with me's, so that will not be coming out today. But I really am going to try and get it done after the weekend. If I can find the time in the weekend, I will. If not, it will be after the weekend. And actually try to focus on getting that finished. So it will take more than like one episode to get it finished. If I'm guessing, I would say about 5 episodes, because there is, even though I have gotten really far, there is still a lot to do. So that was my very long life update. Tried to explain it in the simplest way possible and not going on a big ramble on everything, because I could have talked for this in like an hour if I wanted. So if you haven't already, find your stitching or find something else to do. Organize your floss, fold some laundry, whatever you need to do, and get that going. And we will jump into whips, because I have a lot to show you. The last time I showed you something, it was April the 8th. So there has been a lot of days, and there has been a lot of stitching. So I have actually an FFO that is also a finish, and there is a page finish, and a new start. If you have seen my Stitch Mania, you would have seen it. If not, that will be new for you. I also have tried myself on a new method of stitching my full coverage project, so that is also nice. So for April, I stitched 18,682 stitches in total. That is more than I have done all the other months so far. I knew that it would be pretty high, because already on like the 23rd, I had reached over 15,000 stitches. That was what I reached in all of January. And then it was a little bit slower because of my new method of stitching height. It goes a little bit slower just on the overall, but it goes faster than if I would do like I do on my Lady and the Tiger, where I do kind of cross country, I take one color and I finish off that color as far as I can, as long as I don't box in stitches. Then switch color, do a new one, and continue on. Sometimes I will do the same color if it's a really big block of color, but yeah. So I think the reason I'm slower is because that is a very confetti heavy project I'm doing instead of Lady and the Tiger, where I can knock out 7,000 stitches in like 5 days. But with my SK Butterfly Galores that I stitched on, I managed to get maybe I could maybe get a maximum of 8. No, I don't think I could get 800 stitches a day. Maybe around 600-700 stitches a day, something like that. But it's confetti heavy, and if I would do the other method that I do, or the one page by page, I think in the overall I use about the same time. It just doesn't feel like it, because when I do the big blocks of colors, that goes faster with my other methods of stitching, but it goes so much slower when it is confetti. So in the long run, I think it's even out. So yeah, it went a little bit slower, and the last 2 days, I managed to stitch almost 3,500 stitches in 2 days. And most of them was the second to last day, where I did over 2,500 stitches. That was insane. And it's all to blame magical stitches. So far this year, I have a total of 62,746 stitches that I have done. So that's a good number. In April, I stitched 29 of 30 days, but a lot of those days I only did like 100-200 stitches. So it still helps bumping my stitch count up, but I think it's the really good stitching days I have had this month that made the stitch count so high. So first off, we have one of the favorites for many, and it's my Lady and the Tiger. And here you can see the needle minders I'm using. And it's basically, when I put needle minders on Lady and the Tiger, I just, at that time, used what I had. So, but it's stuff I love. I have a huge shoe collection. I love anime. And this is a pattern that I really love, so it fits. So this is what it's going to look like. Here is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. So yeah, it's a big one. So I finished off this page, because I think I had a page finished since last time you saw me. So I think it's this page that I finished, because I got a good chunk of page number 5. So I'm only to work it like, I think it's over here, something like that, and it's done. So that's why I think I can get a page finish on it in May if I feel better, because now I have been so ill that I have almost not stitched at all these last 2 days. And it doesn't help that I finish something just at the end of April, because then I usually don't feel like stitching, at least when it's such a big finish for me. I then pulled out my, not then, later I pulled out my no frogging salve. I don't have a picture of what it will look like, so here is where you saw it the last time. And here it is now. So you can see what I have done. I have done diagonal parking. This is a method that Lion Blitz Stitch does, but he works from down in this corner, I believe. But Karen the Needlebug does it the way she stitched from the corner I stitched from, the top left corner. So I tried her method of diagonal stitching on this one, and I couldn't quite get it to sit with me, that way of diagonal stitching, exactly as she does it. It's just, no, because she focused mainly line by line, the diagonals she does, and as I said, no, that's not quite for me. So next up, it's my SK Butterflies Galore, and it has a fairy on it, and it has this little elf. And that is because when I finished my QS Huggable, this was on my QS Huggable, so I wanted to continue having it on one of my full coverage pieces. So I got on here, and this is a really good needle minder to hold floss, wrap it around, because it has so many like small bumps on it around. It really holds the floss good in place, and it's at the same time easy to get it off. So love this little guy. So this is what it will look like. And here's where it was the last time you saw it. And here it is now. So again, I just have wrapped my floss around the bobbin when I'm not stitching on it, because there's so many and I don't want them to tangle together when in the bag. So I just wrap them around the bobbin, and that works great for not tangling when not working on it. And here you can see I have started to stitch on the diagonal, and it looks like the same way of stitching diagonal because it gets the same end results, but I really loved my method of doing it. So what I did, I started by doing Jessie Marie's method with this diagonal stairs, and I also do that a little bit different than Jessie Marie, because I tried that method from the other side diagonally, and I tried it just her method and I didn't like it at all. But in the end, I changed it up to fit more my style, and that worked great. But I didn't like it that the diagonals going from left to right. So my diagonals goes from the top from right to left. So it's like I start in the top left corner and make my diagonals from there. And this way of doing it, I'm in a way focusing row by row as Karen the Needlebug does. But at the same time, if the color I am using on the next row already have their stitches complete over, I will do those stitches that already have stitches over it before, and when I come to a place where there isn't stitches over it, I will park it, and so on. And I'm doing it now on like a real diagonal, and that was staircase diagonal. and it really looks good. And as you can see, I have been up in this area here and downwards, and I have done most of the butterfly this time, and I think I just had this tiny bit already done, and some of this, I think that is also a butterfly, a red butterfly behind this butterfly. And this section is also confetti heavy. This blue here is actually a little bit better, so that's a relief. But we're getting more confetti over here, and there will be more confetti as long as this butterfly is in the picture, and it's 2 more diagonals before it's finished. So it has been very confetti heavy, and that is also why it is slower. But with this way of stitching, I actually haven't done a single mistake so far. If I have parked in the wrong spot, it has been easy to see where it was parked wrong, because I notice it immediately. So yeah, and I also, if I don't have the color in the diagonal I am currently working on, I will park it in the next diagonal, as you can see. And even if the stitches is right at the edge here, it's not that far to jump to the second diagonal I will be doing, so not the next, but the next after that one, and I will park in that diagonal if it isn't on the other diagonals. So if the jump is too far on the current diagonal I'm working, I will park in the next diagonal. So I really fell in love with that method of stitching, and I also love how the picture is coming to life, so I definitely will continue using that method and maybe try and convert some more patterns. But I also found that it's better for the more confetti heavy patterns I have, like my lady and the tiger. I don't think I will like that method of stitching. So I will do what I do on her. So yeah, it's just the way it is. Next up, there was an event in Magical Stitches where you could go visit 10 different shops and get extra points, or you could just visit one shop, or you can argue to why you had to stay at Hogwarts and not go to Hogsmeade and visit the shops in Hogsmeade and do some more stitches. I of course decided to do the one where I get the extra points. So 10 different shops. The main part of that challenge was actually you had to write the reasons why you went where you went. So I did. You didn't need to connect them, but I did. So I did write a little story about a Hogwarts girl. Maybe it's me, maybe it's not. You will never know. That basically went around to the shops to get the stuff she needed for school. She prioritized that, and she had lost her cat on the way at the railway station, so she had to go to the railway station and stuff like that. And it was actually really hard because the shops is in a specific order and I have to follow that order, but I think I made it work, and it was a pretty good story in the end. I liked it myself. So some of these projects had multiple stitches done of 100. You have to do 100 stitches for each shop or place you visited. So this is my Haunted Mansion cell. This is how it will look like, and this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. So it was Easter, so we were traveling to my cousin. So in the car, I figured if I work on in the car while waiting on the ferry to take our car over the sea, I managed to find out where I was starting this dark purple color, and I stitched that over. And when we started then driving again, I continued stitching in the car because it was just one color. It was really easy to do. And I also worked down these stitches. So I got a lot more than 100 stitches, but but I don't mind. So that was some easy stitches that I could do in the car, which was nice since we were traveling and you really don't get much stitching done when traveling. Next up, this was the Haunted Mansion, was the Shrieking Shrek, I remember. And this one was quills. So my Ravenclaw girl wanted a blue quill since she is a Ravenclaw girl. So I did, I have put in the pictures. So this is the bluebird for the quill, and this is what it's going to look like in the end. So the moon and the bird is fully done, including the French knots. And they're actually not that hard to do. So, and I think they managed to look okay. This one could have been a little bit better, but this one was the first one I did, so it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it, because I usually manage to do French knots without a problem. It's just that I need to have it in my hands, if you know what I mean. When I'm doing stuff like stitching, I need to have the feel in my hand of it. And I didn't with this first French knot. So, but when I had done that, it's kind of like muscle memory in my fingers, and the other ones looked really good, especially the French knot in the bird. That looks amazing. That was a perfect French knot in my mind. So that's what I did for that one. And then I did some stitching on my Cinderella in Rags and Riches by Joan Elliott. Picture of what it will look like and what it looked like the last time you saw it here. And here it is now. So I had to do this prompt for semi-science stitches, doing some circles, and I got approved doing swirls. So I did a lot of these metallic swirls. I also used this for the stores in Magical Stitches, where one of them was, it was the one with magical equipment and wizard wares. So for magical equipment, she has a broom in her hand that I have just started here. And she, of course, have this cool dress on her. And there's also a fancy dress on Cinderella in Riches. And I believe she had to buy that because her old dress was old. She had grown out of it, so she needed a new fancy dress if there was a ball coming up. Spoilers for Harry Potter 4. So yeah, that was that. And for the rest of the prompts, I use the Dormouse. It's the Alice in Wonderland series by Brooks Books. I'm doing all of them on one big piece of paper. One big piece of fabric. Yeah, it will look good on a piece of paper. It's an 18 count that I hand dyed myself. I know I have totally forgotten to tell you the fabric and stitch counts on the other ones. If I remember, and if I have the time, I will try to have insert text about it. You have seen before picture, and here it is now. So I worked my just checkerboard pattern down here some more, and the teacups and some of the tea being poured in the teacups, and the back stitching. So from here down on just this part, that is fully done. So this caterpillar needs more back stitching, and there is back stitching and more stitching over here. So that's not done, but it's slowly coming together. It's a pretty slow stitch because there's so much color changes all the time. So you see, I do try to park my colors. So that is what it is, but it is a really fun stitch. Brooke Books is very good with her colors and how she uses the colors. So I love how it is turning out. It's just when I'm doing challenges, it sometimes is hard to pull this one out because I know I'm slower, but at the same time, this time, since I had to do so many, I think it was for at least 4 of the places I visited, I used this one, maybe 5 or 6. I did the checkerboard just to speed up a little bit, because that checkerboard at the bottom there goes really fast, so that's like not the big problem at all. So next up is a pattern you haven't seen unless you have seen my Stitch Mania video. And I guess there is a good chance you have seen it. This is Winnie the Pooh quotes. It's a pattern on Etsy from Pattern Art Online, I think her store name is. And this is how far I've gotten. So I finished all the words and I started Winnie the Pooh. This is Chromatic Alchemy Nuriel's Forest. It's a mist dye that I got on one of her Facebook sales. It's a 32 count opalescent Murano. And so yeah, I really like this fabric for this one. It's perfect. So, and I'm going to turn it into a baby sampler, so that's why I will have enough room under here to write the name and such, so that's good. So since May started, I have filled in all of this darker yellow and this brown and this brown and all of it, all of this hand and the tree stump and this. I have done. And I also, there is a World Cup going on in Magical Stitches, but there was some, what I in my mind think as unfairness. Because someone don't believe you can stitch that fast doesn't mean you can't stitch that fast. So I really haven't felt like participating, because I am that kind of person. If I see unfairness in a game, then I don't want to be a part of that game, because I don't want to be a part of unfairness. So instead, I did one of the extra credit challenges, that is stitch on something with words, with a word on it, or words. And this has a lot of words, so it was perfect for that challenge. So I did 500 stitches for that. Plus, Semi-Sign Stitchers has a really cool game going on right now, Letters of Fortune. You get, it's like a hangman. So we have gotten like, we can see how many letters there will be in each word, and we have gotten a phrase, but we don't know what it is. And then we can guess letters, and each letter has a certain value. The most used letters has the lowest amount of stitches in value. But if you have, like, I guessed letter E, I think that is 150 stitches or 200 stitches, something like that for one, and I had 2, I believe. So I did like have to do 400 stitches. So I did 400 stitches. And then you continue guessing the letters and do the stitches for those letters that you have. And if you have multiple letters, then you have to do those stitches for each of those letters. And if you get a letter wrong, I think you have to do like 100 stitches for like a penalty before you are able to guess your next letter. So that is really fun. It's a little bit sad that I have been so ill, or else I would have knocked that first quote out already. But so that is fun. Plus, they also have an event for May that is called 24/7. And what we basically try to do is have someone stitching all the time 24/7, because we are so many people in so many different time zones. So far, I think that has been possible. So that's really fun. And this is also one of the ones I hope to finish. The reason I haven't done this lighter yellow color is because that is a color that has gold or golden in it. So even though I'm not participating now in the challenge, the Quidditch match, I know there is a big chance I will change my mind going forward, especially when the person that stitching abilities were questioned. I know she is going to prove herself that she actually does stitch that fast. And I think after that, I will be in the mood to stitch again on magical stitches. And that will be really, really fun. So yeah. So lastly, we have a whip that is my FFO, finish and FFO. And here is picture of what it will look like and what it looked like in the end. And as you did see, it's Legend of the Blue Sea. And here she is fully finished. So, she looks amazing. I can't spoil, I managed to do counting mistake. No, pin stitch mistake. I put the pin stitch in the wrong place of this square because this is linen. So I put it in the wrong place, and that made it so I ended up putting my stitch the wrong place because I'm so used to it being in the middle of the square, and suddenly it wasn't. So I, of course, had half a stitch off, but I don't think you can see where that mistake was. And I just fudged it because I needed this done because of magical stitches. Because we were to stitch on our smallest whip, on our whip list that we made. And I'm so mad right now that I didn't put my mouse that is sledding on that whip list, because I was supposed to do it and I took it off because I didn't want to put it there before May. So yeah, this was my smallest one. It actually was a close match to my SK Butterflies Galore. So right now, SK Butterflies Galore is my smallest whip on my whip list on magical stitches. And the only reason she was smaller is because she's not the full coverage, because it was not the design area that decided what was biggest, it was the actual stitch count. And I did a quick, with these non-full coverage, I do like a quick calculation where I take, this is 102 by 102 stitches. So I take 102 by 102, multiply it together, and then I divide it by 2, since there is a lot of places there isn't stitches. I divide it by 2. And then you have usually the stitch count for your exit, at least an approximate calculation, and I think that was pretty correct this time. It could maybe have been 1,000 stitches higher, but that is also because there is back stitching going on, and with this heavy amount of back stitching, you usually have to add some stitches to the actual stitch count. So, but it looks really good. I have done a ton of modifications. This was a mystery fabric. I know it's a 32 count because I have measured. So it's a 32 count linen. I can maybe guess it's a cashel because it's so soft, and it was a pure joy to work with. I did change up this harp to be in gold metallics, and since it is 3 different shades in this harp originally, I actually did 3 different shades of metallics, so you actually can see that there is like color variation in there. It's not very big to see, but I can clearly see it where it is darker and where it is lighter gold. I also changed up this starfish to be gold, to be not gold, metallics, some yellow tones, and the same with her, these ones. I did a yellow metallic and some white DMC E52. And this starfish has some metallics in it. These fishes has the darkest blue is a metallic, and on these fishes this orange color is metallic. And all of the beads are beads I had in my stash. These are not called for. It's not calling for beads at all, but I saw these ones and I think it would look perfect for like the single stitches that was all around here. I didn't stitch them and instead decided to put in beads. I did that very early on. And I think it looks amazing. Plus she had a lot of white places in her hair, and I decided to put in these bead in her hair. First I wanted to do these white ones, but I didn't like it, so I put in these one, and I think they look perfect for her hair color. It really makes the purple and the blue pop up, because those beads are depending on how you look in the light, they turn from a dark blue to a dark purple. So it's like a chameleon color. That's at least what we call it in Norway, chameleon color. So you can see a little bit on this bead when I do it like this, that it changes from purple to blue. And also I put a white bead in this star and white beads for this, so it looks like pearls is hanging there. Plus a little bit dimension made it look really nice. So it turned out amazing. On Monday the 29th, I did stitch for just over 12 hours. I think it was 12 hours and 5 minutes, and I did over 2,500 stitches on her, or close to 2,500 stitches, I don't remember right now. And then the second day, I think I used something like 6 hours, was that? I managed to finish up the rest of the stitching and put in the beads. And the beads was actually what took the longest. And I had already, what I had up here was also backstitch. So, but there is a lot of backstitching in her tail here. But she looks amazing. I really love her and how she turned out. I was so lucky that, in a way, that I had that appointment, because that made it possible for me to go and buy this frame. It's just a cheap, like a frame I paid like $2 for. And it's not like a real frame for stitching, but I made it work and I think it looks good. Since I was in a hurry to finish her off, FFO her, because of the magical stitches, we got 50 extra points if we managed to FFO. So that was always my goal, finish an FFO. I might in the future, if I get the feel for it, give her a bath. Since there is a lot of white stitches in there, I think it can be good to give her a bath so it doesn't yellow, and put her back in the frame again. But she is FFO'd. But since that is not a proper frame to FFO in, she's not like fastened around a core, let's say it like that. It's literally just put in there. And that's how most of the frames in Norway is. I'm not lucky that I have those foam cores or anything like that. So I do struggle framing my stitching properly. I would love to do it, but I would have to order foam cores online overseas, and the shipping is horrendous if I need to do that. So yeah. Lastly, I wanted to show you my overviews of the full coverage pieces. So this is Lady and the Tiger. So you can see there's not many 10 by 10 blocks left on page 5. And then I have these 4 blocks. And I already have worked on this page and this page. And I have worked on this page also because I worked my floss down into the next page so I don't get page lines. I also have written the numbers left, and there's actually not a whole lot of stitching left. If I in May manage to finish this page and I continue doing a little bit over 7,000 stitches that I have done some of the months, when I give her about a week, sometimes if I give her a week, I don't always stitch every one of those days. But if I do that, so these two pages has 7,200 stitches left. This one has 8,000 something stitches left, and this has 6,600 stitches left. So if I do over, say, about 7,500 stitches each month, I will have her done in 4 months after May. So May, June, July, August, September. That means I will be able to finish her in September, and that would be really, really nice. Next up is my butterflies galore. I can also... No, I haven't done the calculation yet on Lady and the Tiger, on how big percentage I have. But butterflies galore, I am now 66.4% done, only counting the 10 by 10 blocks. And when I do diagonal, I count two diagonals as one block, even though it's 110 stitches instead of 100 stitches. It's just a way to get those diagonal counted, because there's a lot of stitches in there. And this is pretty accurate to what percentage it is, since I don't feather. So it's just those, 20 stitches extra that is not counted in the percentage. So she is 2/3 of the way done. So I really hope in May that I can get that those last stitches done. We'll see. And then no frogging Sal. I have just this tiny corner started, and that equals 0.68%. So it's not even 1% done. And in all honesty, I am considering ripping out what I have in this one, and most likely start it later if I do like it. Because in the beginning, the person that is doing this Sal, it's a really cool concept where you're not supposed to frog. So if you do a mistake, you can frog it, and I haven't done it. So it's supposed to be different for everyone because of your mistakes. And she normally is a person that has a lot of fandom stitches. So I hope maybe it was something like that. But so far there's just Sky and a tree we have seen. So I think maybe this will be, most likely I will frog it out and repurpose it if I can. If not, I will just put it in a see later pile if I want to do it. Just because I don't feeling the love for it, and I don't know how it looks in the end. And I have so many full coverage projects that I really truly love and want to stitch. So I would rather have that place for those patterns. So this one will most likely go out of my whip list. And I also have been thinking the same thing with my freebie Maui Princess by Heaven and Earth Designs. I think I only have something like two blocks done, 10 by 10 blocks. I do love the pattern, and I would like to stitch it later on. But right now, that is not what is calling to me at all. And I don't want to have multiple patterns from one artist going at the same time. And Hannah Lynn, I have some really cool, amazing patterns by her. I have one Story Keep that is the Ice Princess. I really liked how she is looking. And I also have the QS Alice in Wonderland series, where you have it's 5 QS patterns, where you have the Red Queen, Mad Hatter, White Rabbit, Cheshire Cat, and Alice. And my thinking is I will put I will either repurpose the fabric again on Freebie My Princess, because when I start it, I can just get a new one. And I bought, what is the name? QS Tranquility. It's a Heaven and Earth design where you have a girl with a dragon at a small little tiny dragon at one side and a griffin on the other side of her walking over a bridge. It's by Anne Stokes and it's amazing. Norbert, he's on there. So I bought that on the hate sale. And I know it's no new starts, but I was thinking maybe if I manage to finish off everything I really want to finish in May, my baby sampler, my SK Butterflies Galore, page finish on Lady and the Tiger, page finish on Epic Pokemon, and since I now finished A Legend of the Blue Sea, I don't think I will put my mouse on there yet. Just because he is part of a coaster project I am thinking about, so I don't know if I want to start that now. And my raccoon cabin. So either raccoon cabin or the mouse sledding, depending on what I have time for filming. So those 5 things I absolutely want to finish. And my thinking is, if I can finish those, then I will be on, I think I will be on 29 whips. If I can keep my whip count under 29, it will be 27 if I actually remove my no frogging full coverage and Maui Freebie Princess. So if I can keep that no more than, say, 28 whips, so I only can add 1 whip before I have to finish another until August, when it is my birthday. I think I might do an exception for No New Starts 2020 and start my, I think it's QS Tranquility, it's the name is on that pattern. Even though I have said I am mainly doing No New Starts for 6 months, and then I will prolong to 3 months. So in a way, I have reached that goal if I start in the end of August. I also might do it as a reward to myself when I finish Lady and the Tiger, because then I actually have gotten SK Butterflies Galore and Lady and the Tiger out of my whip list, that it's 2 full coverages finished, and I think that deserves a full coverage start. So I might or might not do that. I also, instead of my wee princess, I will switch in one of Hannah Lynn's patterns I have. Those are all kitted up, so it's like not a big deal. And there is a big possibility that I will first do Ice Queen, just because she is supposed to be on the same fabric that I have my SK Butterflies Galore. That is why it's so wide and I'm only using a small space. It's because I am supposed to have two whips on there. So that is my plans for May. I will try to check in a little bit more often. And yes, I do count this as one of my May finishes, maynia finishes, because when I finished an FFO this, it was 1st of May in Australia. So I go by Australia time zone. So it counts. Just because I want to. It's my challenge, it's my rule, so yeah. Need a little bit of fun and happiness still. Why not make it myself? So that is my plans. My plan was to first off finish off my Winnie the Pooh quote. Finish it off in the sense that finish all of the stitching. The baby isn't born before August, so I will finish it, count it as finished. And when August comes around, the baby is born, I know the name, the weight, the height, everything like that. I will chart it and stitch that on and have it as a whip for one day. Because that goes pretty quick to do. I think I know what font I'm going to use for that, so I think it will be a pretty quick to add on to that cross stitch. So since I kind of are saving those gold or golden stitches for the Magical Stitches Quidditch tournament, because you have to do 1,000 gold stitches to get the snitch, and whoever gets this snitch gets 50 points. So it would be nice to catch the snitch. I know that this coming match we have against Slytherin, I know somebody else is going for the snitch, so I don't have many whips with gold stitches. So I'm thinking about saving those stitches. I don't know if that is enough on there for 1,000 stitches. I don't think so. 2 of the colors is actually has the word gold or golden in them, so they count. So I will just have to see. I was considering starting my Birthstone Dragons by Ingleside Imaginarium. I have that kitted up. Have stitch started, so I'm allowed to start it if I want, because that one has the gold border around it, and that will be some really fast 1,000 stitches to do. But at the same time, I didn't want one more whip. That's why I'm trying to finish out a lot of the ones I have, so I can get my whip count down. So yeah. So we'll see what happens. Knowing me, I am way too competitive for my own best. So I know that if I am sure that I don't have 1,000 golden stitches and I am the one going for the snitch, I probably will start that Ingleside Imaginarium and just do the border. I know it's crazy, but we'll see. Maybe I managed to find some golden stitches on a whip that I just haven't thought of yet that might have golden stitches. So we'll see. That is all I had for you today, she says after like 1.5 hours. So thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. Now we have approximately a starting point on Maynia. And let's just have fun in May. I also wanted to say thank you so much to people that have been concerned about my crazy Maynia plans and my health. I really appreciate it. I do. And I think I have been good that these days where I have been ill, like I wasn't quite good on Tuesday, but I finished the mermaid, but I was still on painkillers and stuff I have gotten for that day. So it just, I didn't feel that ill. So it was Wednesday when it really started, and I didn't stitch at all on Wednesday. So all I did was yesterday, just 500 stitches, something like that. So yeah, so I am actually taking it slow, and I hope my health will turn around so I can get my Maynia plans done. That would be really, really fun to accomplish. So, but we'll see. I will try to be back in about a week, maybe a little bit more. Not Monday, Tuesdays is usually the best day for me to film. Before it was Mondays, but now my husband, he usually is done early each Monday, so he is at home around 1 or 2 p.m. and that is usually around the time I am at the end of my filming. So because I usually start prepping my filming around 11 a.m. Start filming just over 12 p.m. a.m. I can just over noon. And so yeah, he usually comes home right in my filming space. So that's that. I will try and get this edited, uploaded as fast as I can, and I will see you hopefully in a week. Bye.